Betut age ni kokeny nekakituye tuwai eng tetutiet noton nebo Kass Mashinani noton nebo betutab raini ko 4 kasi tarik 23 arawetab mut kenyitab 2024 neibun tetutioni eng betutab raini kwane Bernard Tanui ara itagat. Kitaune logoiwek chetinyegei ak rutoitab President William Ruto eng emetab Amerika ole chutei betutab 4 eng betutab raini rutoiyot bo President William Ruto eng emonoto bo Amerika ole tetat koyai tuyet ak President nebo Amerika Joe Biden eng White House nemite Washington DC. Bendi kong'olole kandoichoto oeng'u akobo tetutik chebo kokimitetab mung'aret ak tilyandit nemie eng kwenutab Kenya ak Amerika ole tetat keityi koyonjinoshek cheterter eng tuyonoto. Yeibata tuyonoto ko tetat ketach President Ruto ak First Lady Mama Rachel Ruto eng amitwogikab koskoleny anan dinner eng White House Washington DC. Eng betutab amut ko 3 kasi ko kowo Ruto tuyetab Tech Round Table eng White House ole koking'alale akobo kokimitetab muswoknotet nekomitei President Biden nekoilos President Ruto kosub ak nekotestai kokanap kokimit demokrasia. Kowo kora Ruto tuyetab Black Caucus Leadership Meeting ole koking'alale ortinwek chebo kokimitetab tetutikab bandab tai eng kwenutab Kenya ak Amerika.
Open. Well, ready. Close. Ready. Shut. Ready. Base.
I bring you very warm greetings from the people of Kenya and our brothers and sisters from across the continent. And I undertake this state visit on the background of 60 years of solid friendship between the United States and Kenya. And specifically, Mr. President, on the subject we are driving today here on the digital space, on technology, and the whole space around investment, trade, and the relationship that we have managed to build over the years. To confirm to you that Kenya is a young tech country, and as you have said correctly, we have spent a lot of time working with our technology companies, our technology investors. We've had twinning relationships between Silicon Savannah in Kenya and Silicon Valley in the US. And this meeting is about what we can do together around digital jobs, business process outsourcing, research and development. And Mr. President, one very important aspect is the CHIPS Act, which hopefully we will be able to have a conversation about in the coming days.
In return, I think, as I said, we're going to prioritize the technological partnership between our countries, and our former CEO, who was also a former CEO, is going to make sure that happens. And Vice President Harris is already building a new public-private partnership to increase investments in innovation. And because our cooperation matters, it's not just for our own people, but for people around the world. If this relationship continues to grow as it is, I think it benefits not only the United States and Kenya, but will lead and will have positive benefits literally around the world. So thank you again for being here, and look forward to working with you. You know, we keep investing in the true strengths of our nations, our people, and in the years ahead.
And Mr. President, under your leadership, we believe that as we celebrate these 60 years of relationship between our two countries, we also celebrate the opportunities that come with the friendship that exists between our two countries. And as you have said correctly, the space around artificial intelligence, space around cybersecurity, and investments that come with it. We are expanding our footprint in the digital space. We are rolling out 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic in Kenya and connecting every ward and every village to a fiber backbone to make sure that e-commerce, digital jobs, and digital learning we can access to every child in Kenya. And we are very proud that we are going to work with American companies. Last month, Secretary Raimondo was in Kenya, and we agreed with her on the kind of investments, the level of investment, the type of investment that needs to be fashioned between our two sides.
Mr. President, I can't thank you. Think of a better way to kick off this visit. When I visited Nairobi as Vice President, I said that the true strength of Kenya was its people, and the students, workers, founders, activists, and innovators, entrepreneurs, and so many people like you who really do depend on democracy and support democracy.
Thank you.
For President, as you and I discussed, we'll discuss tomorrow, we're launching a new era of technological cooperation between Kenya and America, including new exchanges and investments in key fields of cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and semiconductors. And this progress is thanks in large part to the leaders around this table. So my message is really straightforward and simple. Thank you, and keep it up. We're going to see more technological change in the next 10 years. I've been saying this a long time, and I mean it, than we've seen in the last 50 years.
Ko noto ko ngalalet nekoyai President Ruto ak President Joe Biden eng tuyet noto nebo nekong'olole akobo teknolojia noto tesetai eng emetab Amerika. Ole eng nguno amache amutin akoi ofisisiek cheechen chebo kibengeitab labatet nebo Athletics Kenya AK ole tesetai ofisek chebo kibengeinatak kokonu ng'alalet eng sirikab logoiwek kotinygei ak tetutikab kibengeinatak kole konu ng'alalet President nebo kibengeinatak Jackson Tuwei kongebe agenge eng agenge ak ofisisiekab AK.
Of details, because it is with us even now as we experience this even in this country in the recent past, and I think it still continues. Some of the events or issues that we have experienced in terms of competition and things that affect competitors is we last year in Bathurst in Australia, for example, when we went for the World Cross Country, we experienced a huge storm during the last event, a huge thunderstorm actually, which almost caused a lot of injuries to athletes and spectators and the fans and everybody else. So this caused a bit of a problem where the presentations of awards and medals could not be done at the event area because of this. So we had to go to a place somewhere near the university, and we presented that in the evening. Another example is in Doha in 2019. You are aware that the temperatures in Doha are so high that it's rather uncomfortable for athletes sometimes to run, but of course the stadium was well taken care of, and there was some control, air control and so forth and so on. But when it came to the marathon, because athletes have got to run outside there, they have got to run on the streets of the city. For the first time in history of the marathon running, the marathon in Doha during the World Championships was started at midnight exactly. So the athletes ran at midnight through the streets of Doha, and it ended at about 4:30 in the morning. Very difficult times in those areas. Again in Tokyo during the Olympics, you are aware that the marathon, again both men and women plus the walk race, was moved from Tokyo, where the Olympics were, 800 meters north into a place called Sapporo, again because of high temperatures. And even when the athletes got there, the starting time had to be delayed a little bit because of high temperatures. So you can see the effect of climate change to athletes and to the athletics events. Another area is last year in Budapest. The first day of the competition, the first event, that was 5,000 meters. We go to the stadium and it started raining heavily. And so that event was postponed to the following day. And the athletes had prepared and so forth and so on, and they had to be stopped, and they ran the following day. Here at home, just the other day, we were hosting the International Schools Federation cross country at the race course here. The first time that we were hosting as a country, under of course the Ministry of Education, but of course again we were called to support the Ministry of Education in terms of an organization and welcoming the athletes. You are all there. You saw what happened. Before that, there were a lot of calls from every part of the world whether Kenya was safe for the children to come and run here, because there was a lot of flooding, there was a lot of rain and so on. And you know, these are children who are coming from schools up, you know, some of them were 12 years old. And so the parents were very worried whether this will actually take place and whether their children will be safe. So you can see these are the real examples where the climate change can affect sports. And it has affected, including football, not only athletics, including all the outdoor competitions. So a second crisis was, of course, faced in the West. The crisis the world faces is waste and pollution, while the third global challenge is biodiversity loss. I'm happy that Athletics Kenya, yesterday, we joined Maseno School to celebrate the International Day for Biodiversity. We had our team, including Maxwell here, and this gentleman. They were in Maseno. I could not go myself because of other commitments. You remember we had the weekend, the national championships. So they went there and installed an air quality sensor at Maseno. Why Maseno? Maybe later on you will hear why Maseno. Maseno is one of the oldest schools in this country that was set up during the olden days. So if you read about the history of Maseno, you will understand why we picked on Maseno. This is just to show how important it is to us to manage waste, to avoid some of the problems like monkeys and diseases. You know, we have got one air quality sensor at the KWS. When we were installing that, it took us almost two weeks to site the right place in conjunction and coordination with KWS authorities, so that the monkeys don't come and disturb, because you have to put it somewhere near on top of a tree there. And therefore, the United Nations recognized sports as an enable to achieving global goals. It is on this background that Athletics Kenya signed and committed to United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change to act responsibly and in contributing to the resolution of global challenges of climate change. We have been able to undertake the activities and initiatives jointly with our partners, as I said earlier on, UNEP and CEI. And what have we done? Air quality project, we have installed this equipment in 14 stadiums and sports facilities in 6 African countries. And the countries that we have done this is, of course, Kenya. And in Kenya, we have got quite a number of them. We started with Kasarani, because during the World Under 20, that is what the first time we got this experience. World Athletics came and installed one, but because it was not ours, it had to be taken back. So again, we asked our friends here and our partners if we could get one to install at Kasarani. And they were kind enough to give us one. We installed in Kasarani, which is still there today. We have done one at Nyayo National Stadium right here. Again, the same thing. We have done at KWS, I have talked about it. We have fixed one at Nakuru Athletics Club and Nakuru Girls. We have one in Lobo in Eldoret where we have the cross-country tour. We have done one at Eliud Kipchoge complex in Kapsabet. And the other day we installed one at St. Patrick's Iten, where a lot of athletes have come from. And so those are the ones in Kenya. In Senegal, we have installed one in Dakar, where they are going to host the 2026 Olympic Youth. And that is why it has got to be done like that. And then Ethiopia, we have done one at the stadium. Tanzania, both in Dar es Salaam and Zanzibar. We have done two in Zambia, that is in, what do you call the capital there? Lusaka and Ndola. Ndola is where we went for the under 18, under 20 championships last year. And so we had to do that. And therefore next, we are going to Cameroon next month. And the same team will go to Douala to go and install these, so that when the athletes are training and they are competing, they know the kind of air quality system that is there, and so forth and so on. So we still continue with other African countries and of course beyond. The tree planting is something that we have done and we continue doing it, and we are happy that His Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, of course, has taken the lead. Last year there was this discussion here in Nairobi, and also the announcement of 15 billion trees in 10 years. And so we in this system, we also support this by planting trees, and we use of athletes as our environmental ambassadors. And I'll be talking about whom we have used in the past. And you know that the first one was Eliud Kipchoge.
Ko noto ko ngalalet netesetai neindochin president nebo kibengeitab labatet nebo Athletics Kenya aka noto ko Jackson Tuwei ole tesetai koaroru akobo tetutik chetinyegei ak labatet eng emet ko tesetai akosubi report noto sirindenyo nebo urerioshek Martin Cheruyot Chegunor. Ketesetai ko kakokoito kurset kibengeitab Institute of Certified Public Accounts of Kenya ICPAC koityi bunge nebo emoni kotakochikil proposals chemitei eng bilit nebo Finance Bill 2024 ak budget nebo kenyitab 2024 akoi kenyitab 2025 amu imuch kokon nyigisindo neo eng biikab emoni. Kamwa kibengeinata bo ICPAC kondochin nebo ng'echeret Philip Kakai kole angot ketes aisurut eng tuguk chebo komonut eng chekiboisie eng kila betut eng gaa cheu makatiat koboto aisurut nekokitoi nebo karit nenaat ko motor vehicle tax ak VAT eng services chebo ak insurance koibu nyigisindo neo eng biikab emoni ak unoto ko magat kotakechikil kong'ololi eng tuiyetab 41 nebo Institute of Certified Public Accounts Annual Seminar. Komwa Kaikai kole nyolu keisto aisurut ak makatiat ak tuguk alak chekiboisien eng gaa eng kotugul asimaipchi kolany olyetab sobet eng emet.
The Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya wishes to inform the public of the following and urge the National Assembly that as it considers the Finance Bill 2024 and the budget estimates for the financial year 2024-2025 to reconsider the following proposals that have significant ramifications to the public. One is the policy framework. The Institute is concerned on the inconsistency between the proposals in the Finance Bill 2024 and the National Tax Policy and the medium-term revenue strategy provisions that enable predictability and stability in tax laws. For instance, the tax policy anticipated an environment where tax laws will be introduced to last for a period of 5 years, yet some of the provisions introduced and passed in the Finance Act 2023 are already being amended in the current Finance Bill, the proposed Finance Bill. This frequent changes go against the canon of stability and predictability in taxation. Further, the medium-term revenue strategy provided that a policy direction that anticipated a percentage reduction of the VAT rate, which has not happened in these finance bill proposals. Number 2 is the proposal to reclassify VAT on bread. The Finance Bill 2024 proposes to reclassify supply of ordinary bread from zero-rated to standard-rated. This is in essence will increase the price of this product, which is a staple food for most Kenyans. The draft finance bill proposes to introduce a motor vehicle tax of 2.5% of the value of the vehicle to be collected by the insurer at the point of issuing motor vehicle insurance. The proposed tax amount shall be a minimum of 5,000 and a maximum of 100,000. The value will be determined based on several factors such as the make, the model, the engine capacity in cubic centimeters, and the year of manufacture, subject to the Commissioner's prescribed guidelines on the valuation of the motor vehicle. This tax should be remitted to Kenya Revenue Authority within 5 working days. The applicable penalty for failure to account for motor vehicle tax due will give rise to a penalty of 50% of the tax due. During the Economic Survey Review period 2023-2024, the energy sector was characterized by high prices and low demand for petroleum products. However, this comes against the backdrop of revised insurance premium rates and high fuel prices, inevitably shoring up the cost of operating motor vehicles in Kenya. This will have a negative impact on the transport and the logistics industry, who may opt to pass through the additional cost to their customers, thus escalating cost of living through the multiplier effect. The bill proposes to increase the excise duty from 15% to 20% on telephone and internet data services, fees charged for money transfer services by banks, money transfer agencies, and financial services, and fees charged for transfer services by a cellular phone, including 1, insurance of credit and debit cards, issuance of credit and debit cards, telegraphic money transfer services, foreign exchange transactions, including the supply of foreign drafts and international money orders, check handling, processing, clearing, and settlement, including special clearance or cancellation of checks. And lastly, issuance of securities for money, including bills of exchange, promissory notes, money, and postal orders. This may lead to a decrease in the number of transactions, thus may see a decrease in the excise duty collectible.
Tesetai amache kebe agoi county nebo Kericho ole tesetai sako nebo matatu nebo 2MK Traveller Sacco kokoito konetisiet koityi ketikab karisiek eng tokyinetab kinoisechi icheket akobo komonutiet nebo kosub ng'atutikab oret asi kekirinda nyasutikab oret koboto kobor atebet nemie asikosulda mung'aret noton nebo loisetab kiprutoinik eng emet. Ko mito sirindenyo nebo logoiwek eng county nebo Kericho Robert Siele ak ofisaek chebo sacco inoto bo matatu ole kimoche kenyoru inendet asikwarorwech kotinygei ak amune asikotoi tetutioni bo konetisiet eng ketikab matatu. Robert Siele, angot kinyorwo ko une anan kakoit ano konetisioni eng ketikab matatu?
Kongoi mising panatanu en studio nebo Kass TV anyorunen oret nekararan en nguni amiten en taonitab Kericho longeten karnutab betutab raini kokotindoi tuyet kibagengeit nebo karisiek nebo 2MK Travelers Sacco en county nebo Kericho ole kaituiyo ketikab karisiek chetokyingei kebeberwek cheterter en emoni ma county nebo Kericho inegen tokyingei kebeberwek cheterter ole katokyingei konaisi ak konet akobo kamanutietab kasuldaet anetab boisionikwak en oret nekararan kisub ngatutikab oret en konekit ko kikiker kokatestai kebaorenchi nyasutik cheechen kot mising en emoni chekotinyegei en kebeberta neo ak ropta mara karisiek chebendi chepchepindo nemiten barak nekoimuch kokochi sako ni koker kole kaimuch kokur tuyet nebo chokyinet ole nitok ko sako nebo anan sako ne inegen ne amangu ale netai kora en county nebo Kericho nebo kokur tuyet ne inegen neuni nekaituiyo ketikab karisiek en batenyun Pensanu amangu ale ikere karisiek che ikere ile kaimuch kotelel boisiet en betutab raini kabarunetab chamet ak maket nebo koker kole kaimuch koyai boisionikwak en oret nekararan ak konyor naet neyamat en nguni kemiten ak nebo ngecheret en kibagengeitab 2MK Sacco ak alak en afisaek cheechen cheboto ketikab karisiek chamache sikobit kororwech komwoi kole tos ne kit nekaikochi icheket kokur tuyo en betutab raini ako ketik ata chekaimuch koit komasi so taunen kainet kikuren ngo en betutab raini ko mongen ne kit nekokonin iker ile kekur ketikab karisiek kotelelsi boisionik en betutab raini.
Kainetik kyuk kekurenon Chafet Arap Koske ane ko chama nebo 2MK Travelers Sacco. En betutab raini ko kokikur nderebaek tugul kobo tochwek alak tugul kong'eten Nairobi, Chebunyo ak Kericho komugul asikobit kinet ng'alekab road safety anan sensitization nebo ng'alekab road safety en nderebaekyok tugul. Noton ko koityech amun kikisirwech barwet en National Transport and Safety Authority kele nyolu kenet nderebaekyok tugul kesensitizen asikobit akobo ng'alekab barabarosiek. So ngunon kotesetai nderebaek en orit yun ak biikab NTSA ak biikab police konete ng'alekab usalama barabarani.
So mongen ale itinye membaek ata chemiten en kibagenge ini ako ata ketikab karisiek chekaimuch koboroi ra?
Ketikab karisiek chekokenyoru kong'eten raini kong'eten subui ko kakoit 80 amun kakilei tugul karisiek tugul chechoket kotelelsi en betutab raini asikobit kenyorun kinet muhimu nebo ng'alekab road safety amun en in Bowi ko kikakosir kamwae atkai tugul ale kikasirwech barwet National Safety Authority kele nyolu kinet nderebaekyok ak keket kora karisiekyok koba inspection center of which ko kokeket karisiek choton koba inspection center tugul 70 of them ko kokeket. Another one ko kikakilenjech kora keretesten 2 drivers already ko kokeyachi retest 2 drivers.
Mongen en kasarta netesetai ak tuyeng'wong en betutab raini ko tos ne kit neikere ile mising nemakat konai ketindetab karisiek neikere ile tam ko kaimutyet neo kot mising netinyegei ak ketikab karisiek nemakat kiletit en tuyosiek cheu chu?
Nenyolu kiletit kabisa ko ng'alekab speed nekakoumisanech ng'alekab speed amun ngunon karisiek chebo matatu ko kikiseten speed limit nenywanet koik 80 ne noton kakimoche keimisonchi drivers kele speed limit nenywanet nenyolu ko 80 ko amun ngot kosir 80 konyoru kiistakan amun kakobut ng'atutiet nebo matatu sikobit another thing ko konai ng'alekab road signs. En nderebaechu alak ko kiyae license kenyisiek cheloen kot amun en kasari ko kokoit modernization of ng'alekab road safety ko kemoche akichek konai ng'alechoton ne noton ketinye neo nebo examiner nebo driving school nenete icheket nebo NTSA.
Mongen tilyanding'wong mising ko en ketikab karisiek en ortinwek ak chebo NTSA ak afisaekab ribsetab kalyet ko tos une en nguni ako ne kursim koityi ketikab karisiek asikenyor atebet nekararan ak koshinet asikeistoengei yautik cheimuch koib ng'oyondit en ortinwek?
Noton anyun ko kokenam uhusiano nekararan ak biikab police. That is why kakur biikab NTSA ak kakur biikab police asikobit keharmonise ak nderebaek asikobit kokuyo asimabit ngokere ndereba polisiot kokere kole nenin moe konaman ko ngonyor polisiot kongen kole ngomi makosa kwarorchin kole mi kuni ak kuni sikobit kosub sikobit kobit yani komaker ndereba ko ngotorokan ndereba komuch konyor ajali anan much kolian much ngunon kot kanyor ndereba askarindet ko teleljin ako kas kit nemwoe askarindet ak arorchi kou Yes.
So, okay, in let us say takike kora agere ketindet agenge in netindo tajriba anan kimnatet experience nemiten barak so ngalalu chak ne nwakinda ko tos mangalal ngaliat ne imwoini nguni kiprutoinik chemache korutoen betab rani chetam kotiengei TMK sako kait stage mamiten karishek en betab rani ilenjini ne anabwate kole mara koai kambaket
Makiyai kambaket. Niton ko ngatutiet nekobunu NTSA nekokilenje keyai ngatutiet ni ako kora kibwane barabara konekit ak ketoret kelein komuitewech kidogo mara from Monday yon kemi barabara asikekonin services chechoket chekokikonu atkai tugul asikobit mami kambaket agetugul nekokiyai kakiyoe kityo kelen kinet nderebaekyok kou ngatutiet nekokikonech kele oba akobo net nderebaekwok kokuyo ngalekab road safety. Yes.
So itakat kora nyon akine ngono akine en kasartab dakika kityo agenge mongen ne koti ketindetab karishek lakini lekeburte kou raisi ndereba ako itinye ujuzi nebo kenyisiek chechang kikuren ngo ako tos ketindetab karit
Ane kainenyun ko Daniel Rapsang agenge en chetinye karishek en 2MK ako kamwa chaman ngalek chenyikisen cheechen amache tiaimisan kale koki mokorikab karishek ko kitiare kerib ngatutik chenamegei ak barabara. Matatu industry ko an investment. An investment like all other investments. Ko kiketil kauli ke investen in the matatu industry. Ako kitiari keboisien tugul ak the sacco. Individually ko toamuche aranan my own matatu lakini kikiyomech echek tugul under one umbrella nebo sacco nebo 2MK. Akata saccos as well. Ko kitiari ko ki owners chebo karishek ko kitiari kisub ngatutik chekimache. In any case ngatutik choto ko tuguk che rahisi, speed limits, insurances, maintenance. Mamangu ala amuche amekta karinyu ngot ko nyasta kome aribe ko nyolu kekosyinen tugul ak sacco ak police asikobit kerib this industry amun ite yekenyorunen amitwogik chebo kila ko kongoi.
So mangen en wakindo kityo ko kursen kane koityi ketikab karishek miten mara nderebaek cho mara komangu en training kotokonetege akoit barabara tindo speed ak chokyinetab ke ngoliot neikoini nebo kateunet nebo konyor atebet nekaran kone.
Nderebaek ak biik chemi ak karit kila wakati konyolu korib sheria chebo barabara ak utaratibu ole kiburto kimute passengers. Courtesy is one of them. Nyolu ketekisi abiria chemuti akimut komie keng'ololji komie ko tuguk che basic chenyolu kosub nderebaek ko kiboitinikab 2MK. All of them are under 2MK as a workers chebo 2MK apart from being my own worker. Ko kilechini osub sheria tugul chekokimwoi. Nde speed camera ko kit nemuche kokon lafu anytime without any warning. Ko ndabitu nafasi age tugul igen pole pole kotaib chito nekikonin speed governor akimwa ile kakemwowon NTSA kakona signal kole maboisie mashinit ng'ung ko kararan kokuyo tuguk chekineten betutab raini kimong'u kele ibek en oret nekararan. Chairman will follow it up koker kole kakihimisan tuguk chekimwochi icheket. Kongoi.
So, karibu tena anzia, unaitwa nani na labda umuhimu wa mikutano kama hii na trainings kama hizi, kama wewe ni dereva ni unaonaje na labda unaambia nini labda waendeshaji wengine?
Haya, kwa majina mimi naitwa Steven Chege Kurio. Kuanzia hii mambo itokee hii ya suspension, tulimaliza tukaenda tukafanya compliance. Leo tumeenda mkutano muhimu sana, tukafundishwa signs za barabara zenye hatukuwa tunajua, tumejua mengi. Sasa mimi kenye tu naweza abia madereva wenzangu tufuate sheria ya barabara. Sheria yenye imewekwa ni kwa umuhimu yetu, sio kwa umuhimu ya mtu mwingine. Sisi ndio tunasaidika na hiyo sheria. Yes.
Na labda ungependa kuambia nini sako yenu kuhusiana na mafundisho kama haya? Sijui kama unaona labda wanangojea ajali zitokee ndio waitishe mikutano kama hizi ama inafaa ikuwe kila mara?
Mimi kwangu venye nimeona siku ya leo kuna mambo mingi tumejifunza yenye hatujui. Sio lazima ugoje ati uambiwe ati kuja ujifunze. unastahili hata saa yenye uko free unakuja unajifunza sign kama hizo, sababu ni muhimu kwako na kwa waendeshaji wengine wa magari wenye wako kwa barabara. Yes.
Asante. So Ben choton ko alak kityo en ketikab karisiek mango tukomiten ketindet agenge nemuche ng'alalen ni kongoi missing among'u ale tesetai ak tuyet en nguni en taonit noton nebo Kericho ole tugul kora ketokyinigei uritiet asipekekas kanetutik anan tetutik chetindoi icheket asikor keibu kora en logoiwekab emet chemiten tai. So kong'eten county nebo Kericho tuyet noton nebo Kass Mashinani, kainenyun ko Robert Siele, tesetai iker Kass TV amun kimnotet naet. Awekun soet Bernard Tanui en studio nebo Kass TV.
Kongoi missing Robert Siele noto ko sirindenyo Robert Siele eng county nebo Kericho ole kang'alali ak ofisaek choto chebo 2MK Travelers ole ineti ketikab karisiek akobo ng'atutikab oret. Kongeba akoi county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet ole katestai kambaget konetikab JSS komache kesir icheket eng permanent ole kakotestai kokimit kole mawektoigei boisiet konetis akoi kisuldae magutikwai. Kamwa konetichoto kole togu komatindoi maket serikali kosuldae magutikwai ole kasom serikali kokas rirekwai asikobit koboiboichi akichek boisienywa noto nebo konetisiet kou konetik alak chekikesir eng oret nebo permanent. Bitu nitok eng kasarta nekoiyomis committee nebo somanet eng National Assembly kole kitoboni rabinik eng budget nebo kenyini nekitesetai kechobe eng bunge chekisiren konetikab JSS ole komwa nebo ng'echeret eng committee noto ne kora ko MP nebo Tinderet Julius Mele kole kitoboni rabinik chotok asikesire konetik choto chebo JSS ole kae kambaget konetik chotok eng taonitab Iten kosimchini serikali kosir icheket eng permanent.
Behind me, we have 46,000 junior school teachers who are serving under an illegality known as internship. This internship was declared illegal by Justice Bairam Ongaya, the ELRC Court Justice, on 17th April 2024. So these teachers are here in solidarity, pleading to the government for them to be confirmed on permanent and pensionable terms because they are participating in an illegality and yet they are patriot citizens who do not want to break the law. So we want to reverse the same to TSC by asking them to confirm and compensate these teachers.
Kwa hivyo tunasema kwamba serikali iweze kuhakikisha kwamba walimu wetu wameajiriwa kwa kandarasi ya kudumu kulingana na maamuzi ya mahakama kuu. Nataka nimwombe kwa heshima za dhati Nanzi Macharia ambaye amewaruhusu wabunge kuwanyanyasa hawa wangwana wa junior secondary kwa kuwapa barua za kuajiri wenzao. Tunataka kuomba kwa heshima tume ya kuajiri walimu TSC iweze kuajiri walimu kwa njia wazi.
Ko choto ko konetikab JSS eng county nebo Elgeyo Marakwet koyoe kambaget kotinygei ak makenywa noto nebo kesir eng permanent ole katestai kosimchi serikali koker kole kasir icheket asi kotestai ak konetisiet eng sukul. Ko ngeker logoiwek alak chetinyegei ak benki ole kakobarasta benkitab KCB melekwokik chetesotin chekonyor eng arawek somok chetai chebo kenyini chekolany eng kebeberta 69 eng bokol. Kosubkei ak notok kokamwa benkit notok kole kalany melekwokikchik kong'ete bilion 9.8 chekinyor eng kenyitab 2023 agoi bilion 16.5 eng kenyini bo 2024. Kong'ololi yekangoborostoi walutik chotok komwa CEO nebo KCB Paul Russo kole iboru melekwokik chotok kimnotet netindoi benkitab KCB eng mung'aret ole tesetai kotesetai benkinoto konome boroindo netai eng benkishek chetindoi mogornotet neo kole kamwa Russo kole ngandan kokorom mung'aret kokigilgei benkinotok eng mung'aret agoi konyor melekwogik chechang.
So our balance sheet continues to really motor on, registering a 22% growth. Those of you who are very hawk-eyed, like some of our directors, I think you will see that that number is rounded up to 2 trillion. And you might start asking, what happened? I thought the other day you were celebrating hitting 2 trillion. So remember the slide that Paul presented about the impact of a strengthening shilling. So we took benefit on the balance sheets on a sliding shilling. When it starts strengthening, two things happen. One, when you translate your foreign denominated assets, you get a smaller number. And the second thing is when you come to consolidate from the subsidiaries, that has an impact. Hence the reason why you see we at 2 trillion. But the individual components, which I'll get to, have registered some good growth, and I will unpack that as I go on with the presentation. In terms of the split of the total assets for the group, that was powered by KCB Kenya. You can see a 33% year-on-year growth for KCB Kenya, which then led to a reduction in the contribution by other subsidiaries to the group balance sheet, coming down from 38 to about 33 and a half. Performance in terms of the other subs year on year, quite a good performance. TNB at 14%, KCB Uganda at 31, South Sudan at 25. And TMB is now officially the number 2 subsidiary for the group after KCB Bank Kenya.
As we become the regional powerhouse, we want to be the bank and the institution that opens doors. 38 million customers, 1.2 million agents, a dedicated staff portfolio of 12,287. Really proud at how that team shows up for our customers, and truly dedicated to be able to take KCB to the next level. Important that we started a journey of opening doors of opportunity since 1896. That remains our commitment for our customers. 2023 was difficult, we came through it. That's why we remain bullish about 2024. We really see strong rebound on tourism and services sector. And we are very clear that growth in South Sudan, Uganda, and Tanzania will surpass 2023.
Ko tesetai koitun tetutiet nebo Kass Mashinani kong'ete Kass TV ole ngebe komung'et kitigin asikewege ketestai ak tetutioni nebo Kass Mashinani nebo rani ko 4 kasi.